I don't do a whole lot of talking videos. I've just watched Patriot Nurse's video, and in it she was talking about the cost of living. People can't afford houses. The income hasn't adjusted to the cost of houses and the cost of living. So people are stuck making 1980s wages and paying 2023 costs for everything. So that's why you have a lot of people that have had to move back in with their parents, because it's hopeless. And this morning, I don't know why I started thinking about it, but there was a fella who was bought several knives from me, and he was a friend. We talked on the phone, and we disagreed over something, and that was minimum wage. And because of our difference of opinion, he kind of kicked me to the curb. And my opinion is that minimum wage should be double what it is. And everybody says, well, then you'll be paying more for everything. Okay, so you pay more for everything, but people get to live in an apartment and not in RVs on the side of the road or in a tent in the woods. You know, you have people who just won't get a job, and not all of them, but I think a large part of it is because it's hopeless. So what? You go make $8 an hour. What are you going to do with it? You can't rent an apartment. You can't even afford a car on $8 an hour. I'm sanding on a knife, by the way, so that's why my head is going to be doing that number, and all my fat's going to be jiggling. Yeah, we disagreed, and he got mad that we disagreed, and he never came back. And we were Facebook friends, and I commented a few times on his Facebook page, and he never replied. So, okay, whatever. Sorry, we can't be two adults and have opposing opinions. And yeah, I still am of that opinion that nobody can make, even with two people working at minimum wage, you can't afford a car, and kids, you can't afford kids. And I think that's why we have so many people on the government teat, because minimum wage, maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want people dependent on the government and living in government housing. It sure seems like they have actively shaped our society to be one of complete dependence on the government, because there is an enormous segment of our population that is on food stamps and government housing often through no fault of their own. It's because there's not enough money out there to have a job and work 40, 50, 60 hours a week and rent an apartment, or maybe an illness. Anyway, I just sitting here thinking about that fella that was my friend, and how easy it was for him to kick me to the curb over a simple disagreement over something neither one of us can change. But I still feel that way, that minimum wage should be for people 16, 17 years old who live with their parents, because it's hopeless to work for a minimum wage. Even if you had two jobs at minimum wage, it would be hard pressed to find an apartment you could rent with that kind of income and have a car and put gas in it and have insurance. And I think, it's real easy to sit here and say, oh, this generation is just lazy. I think a portion of this generation is lazy, because I think they had lazy parents too, who I'm talking about lazy parenting. But I think the largest part of the lazy kids today are simply hopeless kids who see that working for minimum wage is going to get them nothing and nowhere. You can't have anything on minimum wage. And why bother? This is I don't know if I'll attach this video, 5 minutes. Maybe this will be a standalone video, so I'll tell you what I'm doing. And I don't know why it's got me so tickled. I'm working on a knife for somebody in a little tiny country called Luxembourg. And that is over between Belgium and France and Germany. And I may or may not have been through Luxembourg, because back when I was over there in that part of the country, that part of the world, I did a little bit of drinking. Okay, I did a lot of drinking. And I did a whole bunch of traveling by train and in my own car, not drunk, in my own car. I would remember that. But I have fallen asleep on many a train. I say fallen asleep, I think the word technically is passed out. On many a train over in Europe, and woke up in another country. I got in a lot of trouble too, a couple times, because I didn't have, I was a 17-year-old soldier with a few dollars, and I mean a few. And once you passed, if you had a ticket from point A to point B, and you fell asleep and you woke up in point W, you had to have enough money to pay for that distance that you rode. And let's just say I'm familiar with the Bahnhof Polizei and the Bahnhof Police Station. Anyway, I'm making a knife for somebody in Luxembourg. It's the first time I've had a knife go to that part of the world. And it's just kind of exciting. Kind of exciting that I'm sending a knife. I've sent knives to several different countries. Canada, but that's like part of our continent, the North American continent. I haven't sent any to Mexico yet, or South America. But I've sent a lot of knives to Canada, and a couple to New Zealand, a couple to Australia, a couple to England, and I have to call it cutlery, because England's really weird about knives. Now they've taken everybody's guns away, now they want to take everybody's knives away. Save a life, turn in your knife, because that's a saying over there. So, back to minimum wage and the hopelessness that surrounds people who are stuck working for a minimum wage. And it's real easy to sit and be judgmental, and I have to stop myself sometimes from being a judgmental old guy. I grew up in an era where all you needed was a job and to work hard, and you could have a home and a car. And then life got a little harder. There was times in my life where I've had a full-time job and a couple of part-time jobs in order to keep an apartment. And I had, of course, back then I had a wife that would not work and would not help in any way. And so I was kind of forced to really double, triple my efforts in having a home. Hold on one second. The BC Special, I have kind of ever so slightly altered the BC Special. BC Special, you see that little swoopy swoop? I just started doing that, and my BC Specials are now going to have that. To me, it just adds a little bit more visual appeal to the knife. It doesn't serve any purpose. I'm not going to put like a false edge on it or nothing like that, but it just kind of looks cool instead of a big square edge coming down. So this is the new and improved BC Special with a little swoopity swoop. And this is for a person that ordered this knife through my website, and they specified no dye, no tooling, no fade on the leather. And I want to contact them and tell them that it doesn't cost anything extra for fade, and maybe on the website I don't even know my own website. Perhaps on the website I may have put where it cost more for that. It doesn't. It's Only takes me a couple of hours to make a sheath, so depending on how fancy or how unfancy you want, it doesn't matter. You can have it any degree of fancy or not fancy you want, and it doesn't cost anymore because now I've gotten really good and efficient at my leather work, and I don't waste a lot anymore. So it doesn't cost anymore. If you want tooling and fade and all that, it's the same price. And yeah, I made a lot of progress today. I started this knife this morning, and I started this knife this morning. Wait a minute, we're almost there. There we go. And that's a sharp finger, and that's the one going to Luxembourg. So anyway, I am going to get both these sanded up to the bevel, the grind line sanded off. And the sharp finger's getting a mirror polish. This is getting a satin finish, but I still got a long way to go on that, because I'm at 180, and I go up to 800 for the satin finish. And I go up to 800 and a couple hours in a buffing room for the mirror finish. And I just got back from shipping Norm's knives to him up in Canada. Anyway, I was talking about being judgmental. It is real easy, and you have to stop yourself and think sometimes. It's real easy because we are older, and in our day, things didn't cost what they cost now. In our day, you could have a job and have a life. And it's not like that anymore, man. I look at Marketplace sometimes and look at rents. $1,000, $1,100 or $1,200 for a crappy little apartment, $900 for a really bad rundown mobile home in a bad area, $900. Well, add it up, minimum wage. I mean, how could you possibly have a place to live on minimum wage? You can't. I'm inhaling this dust. I should have my exhaust fan on, but I don't. My wife said that's why she doesn't come down here and visit me very often, because it's so dusty in here. And I said that's a lie as I wiped all the dust off my glasses and off my forehead. Yeah, in my opinion, $14 or $15 an hour is minimum what a person would need to have a chance at having a crappy car and a rundown apartment. The world is different, and it's real easy to sit here and be judgmental of those that have given up. And that's what a lot of people have done. I think young people, they've gone out there and they've looked at the minimum wage and what they can possibly earn. And if they're going to have to live with their parents anyway, why bother with $7.25 an hour working for some guy with a master's degree who's a manager of a dollar store, you know what I mean, or a barista. And then there's taxes, homeowners taxes. You would not believe what our taxes here for our double-wide mobile home on a little bit of land is ridiculous. If I had done my due diligence and done a little research about how much it would cost us to live here, I probably wouldn't have sold my old place and moved here. I have a third of the value, house-wise and land-wise, of what my old place was worth. My old place, between the land that I bought across the street and my home, my yearly property taxes were about $250. Here they're about $1,400, and they want it all at once. And they just went up. They just increased. The tax assessor just arbitrarily claimed that my house is worth $20,000 more this year than over last year. How is that possible? And this is Harrison County, and they've done it to a lot of people. And what they do is raise the amount, and then you have to fight them, which takes a lot of time and a hearing. And the people who are hearing you are the people that raise your taxes. So it's a stacked deck. So it's just for show, where they let you have a little hearing. They might knock it down a few $1,000s, but taxes are ridiculous. And that's another thing. I don't watch Patriot Nurse all the time, and I won't tell you why. It's just she's a little bit odd, okay? And I get kind of a creepy feeling watching her, especially when there's been a few times where she's done these bizarre dances, and yeah, I've unsubscribed several times from Patriot Nurse. But then she'll do a video like she did today talking about what I just said, minimum wage, and people don't even have a chance of owning a home. And how easy it is to sit here in a home that we own through 40 years of work and be judgmental of people who don't have a chance. Sorry. Maybe I should put that exhaust fan on. Anyway, 15 minutes, 16 minutes. I really don't have anything else to say. I got to thinking about how I had this exact conversation in a video. And, people disagreed with me, and that's okay. But most people are okay with people having a different opinion of them than them. But this particular person was really angry that our opinions differed, and I thought he was a friend, and apparently something simple and small and unimportant between us. And it was enough to... Maybe that wasn't all. He was also friends with another knife maker, and who knows, maybe he... we kind of had a falling out. I'm not going to go into it, but maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But that was pretty weird. I thought, wow, that's the kind of friend you are. Who needs you, All right, let me get back to sanding. See ya.